What is up? My name is Douglas Nyback. This is DNA, which stands for Douglas Nyback Acting, which makes sense because this is the place you go on YouTube to learn how to act good from somebody who is an acting coach, an actor, a writer, a producer, coaching 20 to 30 clients per week, as well as working as an on-site acting coach. And I am on shows like Doc on Fox, Boston Blue on CBS, and Ghosts. I am in the shit with you. Everything that we teach here is pointed towards booking you work and helping you navigate the industry and the existential dread around it in practical and effective ways. That's it. That's all. If that sounds interesting to you, give us a little like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about your post-audition mindset. It's hard. It's hard to let things go, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step way to do it. Step one, this is pre-audition. Okay? We're going to start letting go before we even start the audition process. And the first step is give all the shit about it. Care about it. Let yourself care about it. I know a lot of actors that try to I don't really care. It's like this not interesting to me. I don't want this gig. Yes, you do. You absolutely want the gig. You want the gig. You want the money. Sometimes you want the gig and the money. Sometimes the gig really lights you up. Other times it doesn't. Sometimes you can literally in our industry go into a room and walk out with your life completely changed. Like completely changed. You can walk in unemployed with no credits to your name and walk out a series regular on a TV show. It is a wild industry, and you care. This is important for a lot of reasons. The first being, and probably foremost, I'm not like a big the secret, your hand is already on the Mercedes-Benz gear shift manifestation bullshit, but I do believe that you don't want to confuse the universe. Because if you're confusing the universe, you're confusing yourself. You want this. If you didn't, you would pick another profession because they're all actually f***ing easier. You can't go into an audition being like, I want this, I don't want it, I want it, I don't want it. No, nobody knows what to give you. It also sets you up with a ridiculous mindset. No player in the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs or the Olympics goes into it being like, I just don't even want to win, but I want to win. It's so bad, but I don't want to win, but I want to win so bad. It's just like, if you think about it in any other, there's no accountant during tax season being like, I want to do people's taxes. I don't want to do people's taxes. I want to just you want to do the taxes. It's what pays you money. Waste no energy convincing yourself that you don't want to do it. That's step one. Step two is be good. Do the audition really well. This entire channel is about that. So give it a like and subscribe if you want a bunch of tips about how to do it. This is extremely important because most actors don't book because they're not good enough. Of all of the actors that are out there, say 1 million to 2 million actors on the planet, maybe more. Maybe 5% of them are auditioning really regularly. So if you get into a place where you're auditioning really regularly, you're up against that 5%. You're not up against the 95%, which is heartening. But the better you get, the smaller your competition pool becomes, which is excellent. The problem is that everybody is really, really good or their parents are rich and famous. And either way, you have to be incredibly good to get through that into a place where you're having the career that you want. And everybody loves to bitch and moan about the industry, and everybody loves to say it's a bad time for the industry, it's a blah, 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 but it's a bad time for the industry when you're not booking, it's a good time for the industry when you are booking. It's just the way it is. Ask two actors who are having completely different years how the year is and how the industry is, and they're gonna have completely different objective answers. It's just how it is. If you're not booking, the only common denominator in all of your auditions is you can deal with it, and you may have to get better. It doesn't mean that you're bad, but it may mean that you need to spend time with a coach, time with a teacher, change your avenue of approach, change things about yourself, change things about your appearance, but you are the common denominator, so that's something that's really important to dial in on. It's maybe a bit of a controversial opinion, but I don't see any benefit to trying to just make you feel like it's not you, because it fucking is. Probably. Step three, the audition is done. It's good. We send it. We send it unto the thespian gods, and we put up a prayer. And that's step three. You just send it. Goodbye. Step four is release expectation of outcome. Auditioning is like painting a really, really nice painting and putting it into a glass bottle and stoppering it up and then throwing it into the ocean and hoping that the ocean takes it to the island that is home to the person who happens to be walking on the beach the day it arrives, that bends down and picks it up, unstoppers it, and actually looks at your heckin' painting and says, wow, this very specific painting fits the way that I have curated my house at home and is really gonna just pull the room together. The odds of you being that, and notice, at no point did I say, oh, this is the best painting I've ever seen. If it's a good painting, it's supposed to be a good painting. Everybody at an elite level is doing the good paintings. What actually matters is that this is the painting they need to put their room together. This is what the casting process is, and it's a brutal reality. That it's not about just being good. Everybody's fucking good at a certain level. It's about, do you fit the thing, yes or no? The way that they are building it with the rest of the other cast and the creatives and the aesthetic that they're building for the show, etc., etc., etc. There are so many things that are out of your control, and the sooner you can let go of outcome, easier your life is going to become. And here's the thing, right? The more well-known you get, the more you book, the more credits you have, the more you prove to the industry that you can do this, the more your actual fame and notoriety builds, the more value you bring, the more you cultivate an audience that follows you, the more likely the painting is to pull the room together. Because if you are handed a painting that actually pulls your room together, that costs like 20 bucks, it's brand new artist, never heard of them before in your life, it's freaking great. Or you get handed a Picasso that maybe doesn't quite pull the room together, but it's a Picasso. You are gonna put that on your wall and you're gonna be like, doesn't it pull the room together? That's the whole thing. That's why we build our resumes. It's why we build as actors, so that we can get to a place where even if we're not quite actually pulling the room together, they're like, this guy really pulls the room together. It gets easier the more you do. But early on in your career, just know you're tossing out really nice paintings in bottles. And there's a lot of just hoping, so let it go. Just make your job and your focus about tossing the bottles. Make sense? It is important to note that the only thing in that entire process is getting good and sending them out. So your focus needs to be on getting good. See step 2, do the good acting. Step 5. Ride the existential wave of dread that is our industry while letting go of the idea that this is supposed to be fair. The industry is not fair. If you got into film and television because you were looking for a fair and egalitarian profession, leave. This is not the room for you. Hunter S. Thompson described the film and television industry as a cruel and shallow money trench where thieves and pimps run free and good men die in the gutter like dogs. So if you, idealistic, are like, this is the place where dreams are made, it is, it can be, and it is also the place where Jaden Smith has been the lead of multiple movies, and it isn't because he can act good. It is an unfair industry. 85% of it is fit. Do you fit the thing that they need right now? The other 15% of it, that's it's like, it's really, really out of your control. The 15% of actors, that's like the Nepo babies. And a lot of Nepo babies are really good. I'm not saying that they're not, but the idea that they had to work as hard as everybody else to get what they want is asinine. And also that's just the way the world works, and I'm not against it. I am not a Nepo baby in our industry, but I certainly had a relatively healthy upbringing and have been well off enough to afford things like therapy and getting good at acting, and it's not inherently an expensive thing to do. So listen, we're all Nepo babies to some degree, right? That's just the way it is. Somebody's always having a worse day, but some of their daddies are the producers of the movies, and that is just a reality that correlates back to this whole friggin' step, which is letting go of the idea that it's supposed to be fair, because it's not. Just let it go. Life is not fair. The more that you rage against the unfairness of life, life just doesn't give a shit in the exact same way. It never changes. So focus on the shit that you can control, which, as we've already stated, is getting good. Step 6, after you have released the expectation of outcome and you have released the idea that this industry is supposed to be fair, and you are in a new state of zen and acceptance about the realities of life and the film and television industry, then go back, watch your friggin' audition again. Watch it objectively as you can, and ask yourself the question, genuinely ask yourself the question, was this good enough to book the role? You can also do this down the line after the show is aired if you didn't book it, right? If you didn't book it, which odds are you won't, then you get to watch the person who did book it, and then you get to go back to your audition and you get to be like, was this as good as that? Sometimes the answer is going to be yes, and then you can be like, yay! Me! I'm so good at the actos. But this person was clearly the right fit for the role. You will learn that correlation, which is a great way to teach your nervous system how to de-escalate the stakes around this stuff. It's super, super smart. So watch the people, like the vast majority of the stuff that I watch that I didn't book. I'm like, no, yeah, that person was freaking better for it. Every now and then it's a Nebo baby, and I'm just like, that person is, like whatever. Whatever, man. There are also some that I watch, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch my tape again. And then I watch my tape back, and I'm like, I wasn't as good as that guy. I gotta get as good as that guy. I gotta get good. And I am good. I've been at this a long time, but like acting is a lot, like it's not just being good at acting, it's being good at all of the different kinds of acting. And I'm not good at all of them. I'm good at lots of them. Others of them I'm not good. Sometimes I'm just not as good. And so it's great to have that metric, to be like, I'm gonna check my ego at the door and be like, that person's f***ing hella better than me at that. So I'm gonna watch mine and I'm gonna be like, what is that person doing that's better? And then I'm gonna learn how to do that. I'm gonna practice it so that I can get good. That's the way it works. This is how we grow and expand. Because most of the time, if you didn't book it, it's either going to be because you weren't the fit or you weren't as good. And if you're like, how do I do this? It takes forever for the show to come out. You can also just compare your audition to the great auditions that are out there. Like the internet exists. I've created all sorts of breakdowns of great auditions. Rachel McAdams, Dagger Montgomery's audition for Stranger Things, Britt Lauer's audition for Severance, Stephanie Sue's audition for Everything Everywhere All at Once. There are many amazing auditions out there for you, and you get to ask the very simple question, am I that good, yes or no? If the answer is no, then you need to go back to step 2 and get good. And then all of the sudden, you have control. You are exercising control in the areas where you actually have it. And you are releasing expectation of outcome and trying to control things that you simply can't, which is the casting process. You are only in control of yourself. If you are not booking, it's probably because of you. And by the way, that's not something that you have to do on your own, right? Like that's why coaches exist. That's why I exist. There's lots of coaches, there's lots of classes, there's all sorts of places, there's this YouTube channel. Coaches help you speed run the process of getting good. So don't just like get good slow, use the resources available to you. If it's this YouTube channel where there's all sorts of free stuff, or it's like reaching out to people who can actually help you and getting on a developmental track. This is just like, you are not alone in this. Every other department in a film and television set has a department. I just called them departments, but there's like the camera department, there's the sound department, there's the makeup department, there's the hair department, there is no acting department. You have to cultivate your own acting department. No one else is gonna support you unless you seek it out. And you don't have to do it alone. And you do want to speed run it because there's a whole bunch of money to be made when you're young. And then there's a whole bunch of money to be made when you're like me and you're not so young yet, but you're also not old yet. And then there's a whole bunch of money to be made when you're old. And then there's a whole bunch of money to be made when you're really old. So you want to speed run all this shit when you're starting out, which I would imagine you are if you're here on this YouTube channel. So don't do it alone. Get good. Which brings us to step 7, which is just that another audition comes in and you go back to step 1 where you're like, okay, I really care about this. All right, it's great. And we become these Zen people who give a shit about something, putting a ton of work on it, and then go through a process where we're just like, you know what? It's out of my control. And then we say like, oh, I was or was not good enough to book that. Cool, and there's lessons to be learned there and I can get better. And then, ooh, and other opportunities come in and I really, really give a shit about this. That's the way it works. It's pretty sick. It's a good way to live. It's a complicated way to live. The industry is a strange place. So that's that. That is all. That is what this video is. That is how, those are the 7 steps that get you through the complexity of what happens to your life right before, during, and after you send a self-tape. You're welcome. If you found this useful, we got a ton of videos on this channel that are gonna be super helpful to you. Like and subscribe, favorite if you really like it, and I'm happy that you're here and you're watching this. So that's a nice thing that's happened to all of us today. Follow us on socials at DNABACACT. I create separate stuff for the socials. There's all sorts of like little tips and all sorts of things that we put onto our Instagram and TikTok that we make specifically for those. And I'm just glad you're here. I'm freaking glad you're here. You do whatever. Follow us wherever you learn best, because this is about education. Have a nice day. Hope you have a nice one. Go be people.